Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we celebrate this Christmas on our special Christmas show with three special in-studio guests. And we've always got a special producer, Shelby McCall, and we're going to introduce her in just a second. We've got Buck Gardner, we've got Ron Wong.
Hey, good
David
morning,
Beal
everybody.
over there. And before we get to the next guest, how about it, Shelby? I need some Christmas music. Can you do it? Are you up to it? Let's see. I love it. There you go. How many outdoor shows have a
Absolutely
trumpet
beautiful.
player for a show producer?
But that's the best
Good
jingle
stuff.
bells I've heard in a while.
Good stuff.
All right. Tony Dolle's on the line with us. Of course, Tony is our longtime friend. He really helped me a lot when I was having my cancer bout, and he would fill in for me. He even came over from Mount Juliet a couple of times, and it's always good to have Tony. He is the president of the Tennessee Outdoor Writers Association, which I've been a member of since 1988. I don't know. That's 1988, not 1888, and it's always good. And, Tony, first of all, Merry Christmas to you, buddy. And I know you probably got a special memory of Christmas, right?
I do, and it's one of those special memories is not Shelby playing the trumpet. I think Louis Armstrong is turning over in his grave. No offense, Shelby.
All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, tell us, what's going on?
Yes, sir. I've got great memories of Christmas with the outdoors, but especially with things with my dad,
Yes.
who died many years ago. In fact, my father had never shot a Canada goose. He'd been around them all his life. He'd hunted them all his life, and somehow he'd never pulled the trigger on a Canada goose. Wow. And I remember one Christmas afternoon, all the presents had been opened, the meal had been fixed, everything had been cleaned up, and my dad and I looked at each other, and I said, why don't we go up to our goose blind that you've never been to and you've never shot a goose out of, and why don't we go over there and see if the geese are flying? He said, well, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
And we went over, put the decoys out, nothing. I mean, it was a great day.
Yes.
But before, as I was picking up the decoys so we could come home toward twilight, there was probably 10 minutes of shooting light left, and before the shooting hour time was over. Here comes 3 Canada geese, set their wings, and despite the fact that I was out in the middle of the decoys, tried to land on top of our blind.
Oh, man.
And my dad managed to shoot. You could shoot 2, and he managed to shoot his limit. And for the rest of our lives, he always talked about, that Christmas day we shot the geese. And someday I'll write that story.
You need to write that, Tony.
Publish it somewhere.
Yes, you need to write
and
that.
It was a pivotal day in our waterfowling. After that, he'd already shot ducks. He'd killed his geese. He's killed his goose. He didn't care if he shot another one, but just to say he did. And having it happen on Christmas, and he said having you and me together in the blind doing it, he said that made a difference.
Well, I know that now. Was this? I know you grew up in Poplar Bluff, but was this near Poplar Bluff?
It was actually just outside. It was just outside of Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Yes.
In one of the soybean fields.
That's right.
A couple farmers we knew rented us some space.
Yes.
And we shot out of a soybean field over there.
Well, a lot of you folks will know Tony from, of course, I've known Tony since his days with Cabela in Sidney, Nebraska. And Tony's the one that lent me that Pennsylvania muzzleloader that had 2 shots. You had to rotate the barrel, and the rifle weighed more than I did. And I don't know how the pioneers ever did that. But of course, Tony worked for DU here for many years and things like that. But Tony, memories guys are like that for y'all. I know we could fill a show up with Buck memories over here with Buck Gardner because. But now you can't hunt on Christmas Day in Arkansas. That's a no-no. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Got to give a present to the ducks.
Well, Frank Barton is very. He doesn't understand that last week. He was talking a lot about it. But Tony, thank you, brother. We love you, and Merry Christmas to you. And we'll stay in touch. Look forward to seeing you 2024. Okay, man.
Sounds great, guys. Merry Christmas, Doc.
Merry Christmas,
right.
Tony.
All right, Tony Dolle. All right, our good friend there. And this show was about Christmas, but we're going to throw in some things because and then David, you got a pen or something so you can listen to Ron when he gives his fishing report. You better be ready. No one. I got the war piece. Here he goes. And this is a special day for David. He's sitting next to one of his idols right there, and Mr. Ron
David's
Wong.
good people.
Yeah, and David, Mr. Squarebill, and that nickname. Can we say that again, David? Hillbilly. That's his nickname. Well, this is no hillbilly fishing report. This is from the Delta when it comes from Ron Wong's, and that's the Delta of California. Ron, click it off, a Christmas fishing report.
All right, let's go. Hey,
let's go.
Let's go. We've had a little bit of rain. We've had a couple cold spells. Your surface temperature is running in the low 50s in most of the area lakes, except for the Tennessee River, and it's in the high 40s, low 50s. But the fish are still eating, and they're eating well on the Tennessee River. The bass are still biting, but one of the go-to baits now for the bass is your A-rig.
A-rig.
If you're fishing in Tennessee, remember you can only have 3 hooks on your A-rig, and you can have 2 dummies on it.
Oh, that's
all right.
Like
that's
me.
good.
Right.
And also they're starting to eat that black and blue or a pumpkin-colored jig with a rage crawl on it, and they're right on the edge of the creeks actually, and on the secondary points where the shad are. And what you have to do is look for the shad. When you find the balls of shad, you're going to be on the fish.
Yes.
Crappie fishing is excellent right now.
Yes.
On Pickwick and Kentucky Lake, brush piles in 20 to 25 feet of water, and fishing 14 to 18 feet deep.
Right.
Using a Slablicious.
That's it.
It works well, or a crappie magnet, especially in a monkey milk color.
Monkey milk
All right.
color.
Hey, let's go down the I-55 lakes.
Do it.
They're all really low. Be very careful on them.
Yes.
There's only Grenada right now. You can use a flat bottom boat, maybe.
Yeah.
But most of the ramps are out of the water. But Sardis and Enid, you can still get in at the dam. On those ramps right there. The bass are biting pretty good using a black and blue jig with a black and blue flake menace on it. That's what I'm liking to use. Also, slow rolling a half-ounce spinner bait. And here's a tip.
What?
For right now.
All right. Here it comes.
A single number 5 Colorado blade.
Right.
And if the water's dingy from the rain, go to a gold blade or go to a red blade. Single Colorado gives a lot of thump off. Crappie fishing, that's doing pretty good. Still on the especially Sardis and Enid.
Yeah.
They're catching quite a few crappie still, but you have to fish slow.
Slow. How slow?
Double minnow rigs.
Real slow.
And slow drifting, 0.2 to 0.4 mile an hour, no faster than that. And you're going to fish over 15 to 18 feet of water, about 9 to 12 feet deep with that. And you'll be able to catch some crappie right there. Also on the spillway at Sardis and Enid and Grenada, the crappie are biting really well. And what they're doing is they're putting a float on 5 to 6 feet deep, especially in your black and pink or chartreuse and black jigs, and they are wearing them out.
Is that not amazing? Did you see how many things he was reading that off of, Buck?
He didn't read nothing.
He wasn't reading nothing, was he? No.
He doesn't know how to read.
He doesn't know how to read. He don't need
I don't
to
know
read.
how to read.
He don't know how to read. He don't need to. And David's over there. David's over saying, "Yeah." You know, I mean, when Ron gets rolling, he's that's slabalicious. That's one of my favorites when you get to that.
Absolutely.
And then, how about that 0.2 miles an hour? What was that?
Well, I mean, that's a really
that's a real
slow
delicate thing to know if you're
really
going too fast.
And most step finders today, will tell you your speed just looking at your depth finder. It will tell you, and slow is good because the fish don't move very much. But when you do find the fish, they are going to be stacked up.
David, you can't get a better fishing report than that. And Buck, back in the hog rustler days, we know all about that. Buck's got on his shirt. I got one of those shirts. We got 2 minutes. I got one of those shirts, and I was privileged to be a part of the Buck Gardner team.
You was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was. I helped put out some publicity and did some things. And
you did it all.
I did a lot, and I learned about the Big Nasty and
the Double Nasty.
The Double Nasty,
yeah.
and that's named after your.
That's named after Brenda. My wife's sister, Brenda.
Your sister-in-law, Brenda.
Yep.
She got a lure name. I mean, a duck call named after her, the Double Nasty.
Yeah, and we also made one after other fish, a fishing bait called the Double Ugly.
The Double Ugly.
Double
that's
Ugly,
right.
And you know how that was named?
Yeah.
No, how was it?
Okay.
All right. We got 2 minutes now.
There was a guy named George Gregory that we all know.
Yes,
he was paired with me.
George Gregory was paired with you
at a bass tournament on Tunica Lake, and the fish were biting really slow. And I went and found some really stained water, and I put on this bait that I had made up. Peanut Craft Lures.
Yeah.
I made the bait a chartreuse Colorado blade on top and a gold Indiana on the bottom with a chartreuse white and blue skirt on it, and with a chartreuse colored grub on it, and I started catching fish, and George says, "Man, that's the ugliest spinnerbait I ever saw in my life. In fact, it's so ugly, it's double ugly."
Is that?
And Carl Graham caught on to it.
Yep.
Golly, and George Gregory will never forget that.
Yeah, I put it together, the original.
You and George Gregory in the same boat.
Yep.
Okay, that's.
I gave him some lessons.
You gave him some lessons, that's for sure. All right, let's take a break. We're having fun here. Double Ugly, Double Nasty, and Hillbilly over there with the best fishing report you'll ever find in the Mid-South. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back on Outdoors of Larry Road.